I think I keep on harping on about this, but games are the key. So what games are you expecting? What developers, first party and third party, what are we looking at? I mean,
Let me go to my list. Hold on.
you wrote a list.
I wrote down a list.
Well, I mean, 13, we don't know what. I mean, that one's in limbo as far as I'm concerned because of the LucasArts buyout by Disney, and Disney have said that they are not going to be making these games. They'll be licensing stuff out to people. So we
Do you
don't
think
know
they'll
when that's
cancel that
going.
game?
That game is, that game's in limbo as far as I'm concerned.
There's
So-
active people working on it.
Well,
Well,
Is-
I
is-
bet
is Clint
we're gonna
Hawking on that
see.
game, though, or no?
I think we're gonna see going like you got to pick your right. Each publisher is probably going to be represented, the majors. So they're going to each be there because they want to feel like they're part of. Sony wants to make them feel like they're all part of it. Everyone's supporting us next gen. So EA, my prediction is going to be like Battlefield. I'm hoping we're not going to see Madden.
we'll see Madden, we'll see FIFA.
Yep. And then, but are we going to really see 3 games from them?
Because
I'd rather
Battlefield's-
see some Battlefield.
And Battlefield's going to be a split SKU if it's next gen. They're going to keep
Right.
that on current gen.
Yep.
Just from those beta invites.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there will be. I think we will see FIFA and we will see Madden.
Would that be Frostbite 3 or would that still be like a 2.5?
I mean, what's going on with the Phantom Pain? Like, are we going to see that?
Kyle, what do you
Is that
think?
going to be there?
I bet it won't be part of that console announcement. It'd be great. It should be. If we're saying what should be.
No, I mean, what's Ubisoft going to have? I'm assuming Watchdog, because they've been really shy about that
And
since E3.
They have kind of. It's been announced that there is a new Assassin's Creed game coming next April.
Wait, they're making another Assassin?
But it won't be 3. It's going to be.
It's not going to be
Right?
Connor. It's a new locale, a new character. So that is possible. We'll be seeing a new, Just Dance. We'll probably see,
Depends on how much motion they're going to go with this, right?
Yeah, I mean that is a.
Do you think they'll let Just Dance into this console announcement?
Given how many of those things, how many units those things shift, they are a key part. Especially as this is the, this is the one that they're saying this is the battle for the living room. Like they said it with the last generation. This is the one where it's now everything's streaming in, and people are going to dump their cable boxes, and the console is going to sit there, and it's going to be Hulu and Crackle and Netflix, and that's what they want. So they also want an audience that is going to jump around like they're having seizures.
Well,
Yeah,
also,
and it is
that
like a top
leads-
10
that lead-
game, isn't it?
But it's a top 10 game on the Wii.
But it's also
And that leads to the other question of price, which we won't go into that right now.
But we've heard that the console is going to have like 2 cameras built in, so that would be a great way to show that off with a game that's super popular.
You're right. Yeah.
It's not. I'd rather see Just Dance 7 than Wonderbook again. Like at this point, at least it's going to be more goofy to watch than just sad.
Wonderbook is.
All right, so Activision. What are Activision going to bring?
Are we going to see Call of Duty? Like, are we going to see? I mean, what's Respawn working on? Or not? Sorry, Respawn, but Infinity Ward working on.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's actually good. That's
normally we'd see the Call of Duty around GDC at Tees,
it's
so it wouldn't be out of the
early,
question.
But that would be a huge leap, almost, because we're talking about a franchise and a team that, like it or not, are more heavily associated with Xbox. Yeah. And I think if they come out with the new Infinity Ward game or the new Call of Duty on PS4, that's going to piss a lot of people off in the Xbox community, just like when Final Fantasy made the jump to multi-platform. There were a lot of people in the in the PlayStation camp who were very annoyed.
Do you think it's possible for in the next gen for PlayStation to say, hey, Xbox isn't going to have exclusive map months anymore? Do you think they could get rid of that?
It depends if Sony want to bring the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they do?
I don't know. I mean, there's the market's still out if that's really helping Microsoft or if they're just burning cash on those exclusivities.
I don't know the full figures, but I think it's if Sony want to do that, they've got to stop ponying up the cash, and I don't know if they have the cash to do it.
Yeah.
They are hemorrhaging money hand over fist in several other businesses. The Vita's not been the success that it was supposed to be.
I'd also rather Sony take that money that they would spend on that and give it to guys like Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica to make cool little projects
instead of spending it on maps.
Instead of spending it on maps.
Yeah.
I mean, Destiny's obviously having a big weekend, so is that going to be there next week?
It'll be interesting because I mean, if they've had these events beforehand, the press there, I'm sure Sony is telling, Bungie, you can't say that it's coming on the PS4 because we haven't acknowledged the PS4, and won't until next Thursday. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, is that going to be the Destiny announcement? Boom, boom. Yes, it's coming on PlayStation 3 and 360 and PC, and then
That could actually be a really good 1-2 punch. Everyone gets to see the early Destiny stuff. Like, I think there's going to be during an NBA commercial. There's going to be something, but then they follow through at PlayStation 4 with a big payload after everyone's already seeded it into the hardcore people that are following news stories.
I think with Ryan, though, I think it's really hard to get excited about that double dipping. That thing of, oh, this can't exist on the console I have now. Like, if it just looks moderately better.
Well, you got to remember that Sony, just like Xbox, Microsoft can't discount this Christmas. And this is me putting almost like the business hat on.
Yeah.
They can't discount this Christmas for Xbox 360 and PS3 because any additional units they sell, that's clearing out inventory, that's continuing to bring licensing revenue in, that's putting money in the bank because we know they're not going to have enough at a reasonable enough price point for either of those new consoles this holiday season for everybody to go bananas and buy them.
So do you think that the only next-gen exclusives this fall will be first-party developed games?
I think there will probably be there'll be a bunch of first party developed stuff, but I think there's going to be a couple. I mean, there are a couple, like I said, like Watch Dogs. I don't know if that's going.
And I don't know if
Yeah,
you could do
probably.
Star Wars 1313 on a current gen console.
You can do it on a PC, but that's about it.
Right. Well,
Dark
that's what I'm
Souls
saying.
2.
So, it's going to be. I think we are going to see some of that double dipping, and going into that, like, what's this Batman game we heard about this week? There's a new Arkham game.
Yeah, this Arkham game that got me really excited until somebody, and no disrespect to the company doing it, said it's not Rocksteady, it's Spark.
Yeah, and is that confirmed? I don't know if that's 100% confirmed yet, but
Well, Twitter
everyone's
is
going
ablaze with it, and
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way: to say that it tempered my enthusiasm somewhat might be the understatement of the week. I mean, no offense to Spark, but they're not.
But is
Rocksteady.
this
Can
going
you
to be
remind me
some
of what they've done, Spark?
Oh.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, nothing of note jumps out, and that to me is the biggest
But
problem.
on the same side, Rocksteady's first game was that like urban assault game with like the riot shields.
I was gonna say Rocks.
But I mean,
Spark's
but
defense.
Spark has done a bunch of games. Spark has done a bunch of stuff that has not hit the heights. And this might be that there is a new team there, and they're being heavily supervised. And this might all be up in the air. But given my Aliens Colonial Marines experience this week, when there is another company involved, I'm getting a little reluctant.
Bait and switch.
Yes.
To reference Kyle's video again, Ueda did break some radio silence in saying that he's still shepherding Last Guardian along. So I think that's definitely something that I wouldn't be surprised.
What was
to
your
see
reaction to Last Guardian, Kyle, on the video?
It was.
Don't
not
make him do it.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
I
gonna.
won't do it.
I got a lot of comments.
No.
People hated how goofy that was. I won't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I won't go that crazy.
So
I did want to watch Akira afterwards. Though.
Well, let's see.
Scanners.
Let's talk about Square Enix, who have always, they've always been, for the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and early PS3, they were the ace in the hole, Rockstar was before they went, multi-format. What can Square Enix bring? I mean, Tomb Raider's coming out, but that's the thing. Tomb Raider, Hitman has already come out. Sleeping Dogs came out.
Thief is in the works. We don't know anything about it. They do have that new engine. There is, Damiani swears up and down Versus is going to be a PS4 game.
I think if they showed a
at
title,
this point, how many Final Fantasy games have been announced that aren't?
just two.
Oh.
Just two of them.
Plus, they're like engine that's like we can make awesome next gen Final Fantasy
And then like a
games.
survey, like, do you want this? Like,
Yeah.
yes, we want it. Yeah,
It
obviously.
just-
So
I
do we
feel like they have a
expect
lot of
anything-
product to get
Well,
out
they
first.
going back to the IDOS pool, they when we did our 20 games we want to see, Rohan suggested Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain, and so that's a IDOS property, and Square just re-registered a domain, and that's been, God, I don't think we've seen a game in 9 years.
It's been rumored
Yeah, that would be huge.
off
That'd be
and
really
on
cool.
for years. Yeah.
What would be interesting there is Amy Hennig.
Yeah.
She was the creative director on Soul Reaver.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting if there was maybe a Naughty Dog Square crossover. We do know those guys are pretty open to working with other people sometimes. So I don't know.
Does the play-
I'm just
That'd be crazy.
talking
It'd
on
be
my
really
butt
cool.
right now,
That's-
but I think it'd be really cool to see something like that happen.
That's Kyle level
the PlayStation
speculation
4
at that point.
Does the PlayStation 4 lose some excitement if there is not a brand new, spanky, super duper Final Fantasy on it?
I mean, I think JRPGs have kind of I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
mean, we
It's-
did-
We
we
don't
don't-
have the cachet they used to.
It's for a worldwide audience, though, right?
Well, it's for
So
for a
That's true.
worldwide
Japan's
audience.
gonna be
and
watching
Nino,
as well.
Nino Cooney came along, did a really good job, went to #1 in the UK in its release, and got great reviews. So I mean, if there is a resurgence, I mean, is it a failure in Japan's eyes even if there is no Final Fantasy?
And I think there's a part in us that is still willing to get excited about a Final Fantasy again. Do you know what I mean? I think there's still some
Nino
level of
Cooney
freeness.
got me back into liking JRPGs because there was this almost old school feel that isn't repetitive, and I think I made the point, and somebody made the point to me, was that when you're not looking at 36 hours of high definition cutscenes and you actually get to play the game, that's when you get to love stuff, and it just got perhaps got a little pretentious. Let me move on to another publisher that's obviously traditionally very strong on the PS3, Konami.
Konami's not strong, Konami is Metal Gear and like Winning 11.
Yeah, but I mean, again, those are two pretty strong franchises to have that do cover a multitude, and I mean a multitude of sins. So Metal Gear, PS4, no-brainer.
As an exclusive or just showing it?
I think an exclusive Metal.
I don't think, honestly, I think next gen we're not going to see a lot of exclusives
From
from
third
third
party,
parties. I don't think they could afford to do it anymore.
It's
I
going to
just
be
think
interesting. I
it's
mean, obviously,
not-
4 was, but
But you're even seeing the rise right now of more companies doing great PC versions because they know that there's a market for that and they need the money. It used to be like, oh, PC's not going to make us any money. You look at the numbers for Far Cry; those are ridiculous for PS3, and it's or not for PS3, but for PC. And I can't see unless Sony's going to pony up a bunch of money.
I see a new
I don't
tier
see it
of
happening.
games. We're used to the $5, $10, $15 games that you download and the $60 store games. I think we may see the rise of the $25 game, and this is maybe where some industries, because here's the thing, even if you have FiOS, downloading a 50 gig Blu-ray is going to be a pain in the butt.
Well, not only that, storage
And if it costs
space as well.
$60.
Let's talk about storage space.
Exactly. But some of these, and those games cost the most to produce because the assets and everything. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more, not that the $5, $10, $15 games are bad or poor or too short even, but maybe a certain level of quality, not of production value, that we could see a new realm of things. And maybe we see Zone of the Enders 3, and this is where some of these kind of franchises that have kind of wallowed in the past can be re-brought back. Instead of them trying to waste all this money on these Silent Hills that no one seems to like and are taking up store space and you have to have trucks drive them places and everything. There's a great pack attack about this.
I think if that's to happen, Sony has to be at the forefront of it with PlayStation Plus. I think they have to be at the forefront with regards to giving people breaks on the licensing fees, because that's where there's obviously a lot of money disappears. While on I think for us to see those $25, $30 the things we used to call the budget games, for those to evolve, I think they have to, just like with everything else, they have to evolve on the PC first. And I think because the first party Sony and Microsoft are not willing to lower their fees enough to make them financially viable when you can go and develop on a PC, put it out. Yeah, you pay a cut on Steam, but it's not as bad as the Sony and Microsoft royalties.
Do we know that though? We don't know what Steam royalties are.
Well, nobody knows what Steam royalties are, but
Well,
they
the
are
general rule
Oh, I
for the
know.
smaller guys is
Yeah.
it's 30%, which
Right.
actually can be worse than the $7 or $6
Right.
for a sports game. So it is really kind of all up there. And I see what you're saying, but I also think there is just a general, as everything goes more cloud-based and everything, and people are streaming stuff, TV, cable, it's all kind of converging into just the media, be it interactive or non-interactive. So I'm not saying it's, I'm not saying the singularity is around the corner, but it may be on the horizon for this sort of stuff.
Metal Gear, will we see one? Will we see more of that game we saw at PAX?
Maybe a title.
Oh, that's good.
Like one of those where it's just like.
Trailer. I mean, we're definitely going to see just some straight trailers next week, right? We're going to see. It could be a Metal Gear trailer. It could be an Uncharted 4 trailer. I think it's not going to all be demos. It's not
Right.
going to all be gameplay. We are going to see. Sony does like to throw a logo up and bring someone out and be like, "We're making this game."
Yeah, they like to throw lots of logos up and like a list
So-
of developers and everything.
Who knows?
So-
What they're going to do there.
So you know me, and I like to make some silly predictions, but I'm just going to throw out now. Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto has been moved. We know it's coming in September. What happens if there is and this is in the realms of if Sony say, guess what's coming out the same day as Grand Theft Auto? The PlayStation 4, and there will be a PlayStation 4. That might be a case of just melting down.
Yeah,
all of
that
New
would be
York.
crazy. That'd be really cool.
And it doesn't have to be exclusive. The onus is then on Microsoft to get their shit together. Yeah. But I can see, it's a franchise that was always, for the longest time, traditionally associated with the PlayStation. It started on the PS1, went through its first batch of iterations before, going multi-platform.
But on this last generation, it led on Xbox. So
yeah,
it's
I mean,
gonna be
that whole
interesting to see.
That loyalty thing.
I think loyalty's out the window. It's all about money.
I'm not saying that there won't be other versions. I am just saying that perhaps there is the first next gen version of Grand Theft Auto you can play will be on PS4.
I think we're gonna see. I wouldn't be shocked to see some games do that. I think that's probably too early.
September is too early.
September's too early.
You never know. They might surprise us. Plus, I specialize in random. I remember setting a bonus round at the beginning of last year and saying, we will have 720 and Grand Theft Auto will be a launch. I figure if I keep on saying it, at some point,
you'll be right.
before I retire from the games industry in the next 50 years, I'll be right.
We call that the Pactor.
All right, so who are we missing from the lineup of developers?
Respawn. What are they working on? We know that they've got a project.
Do you think they want their own event, though? Do you think they would just be a footnote in the PS4?
Depends.
Event?
Do you end it with a bit, I think those guys are ready to show something.
Probably, right.
We're ready to see it.
Yeah, we are very.
And the
very
fact
ready.
that they haven't said anything yet, to me, it means it has to be a next-gen game.
If we want to talk about crazy betrayals and great technology, well, that's an argument, but Doom 4. Bethesda.
Yeah, I mean,
betrays
great betrayal?
Betrays the PC base.
Oh, because they're.
I'm just saying, if we're doing just shouting stuff out. I mean,
yeah,
Doom 4 is in the works. We've seen the logo.
I think if Bethesda are going to appease the PlayStation fans, they need to bring a shitload more than Doom 4. Given what happened with Skyrim and with Fallout, I think they need to bring something, a lot more. And I don't think that particular. That particular company really, views perhaps PlayStation as their biggest oomph. I think they're going to save their big things.
Well,
for Xbox.
I mean, this does go back into the rumors that the PS4 is not going to be a typical console and will mirror PCs. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about.
Can we ask, how I would be more than happy if they got rid of Home. I know they've redesigned it, but can Home go bye-bye?
So isn't Home strangely profitable for Sony though? Don't they make a
They've said they've made money on it.
Okay. I bet there are like 1,000 weirdos who spend thousands and thousands of dollars on Home.
Well, I mean, it's
still not enough,
but it's still a poor man's second life.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, I think
I don't know, man. I look at the Avatar store on Xbox, and I do know that can be really profitable for people. People like the Mii's, people like the Miiverse. I think Home may have been too complicated, if anything.
Yeah,
Home's
I think
weird,
it was too
yeah.
much.
And I always come from the perspective of somebody
community.
who is not going to buy a fucking T-shirt for an Avatar or buy a certain outfit from Infamous 2 for Infamous 3. Yes.
There it is.
I'm trying to work my way through the list. We've got
I'm
lots
not using
to get
a list.
to.
I'm relying on my industry knowledge. Infamous 3. Can we get an Infamous 3?
I hope so.
I think
Sucker
I
Punch has
would
been quiet.
snog somebody at that event next week.
I want to see an Infamous 3. Those guys have done a great job. That the first game was really fun. I think they have some problems with some of the open world stuff, but
what they did
it's
was
a little repetitive. And
I went back to it to the second one a couple of weeks ago just to have a day dicking around playing an old game, and there was a huge update, and then literally the way they've integrated all that user generated content. That to me is really smartly done. I think it's great. I would love to see Sucker Punch just tease that, because then they can have my money. They can have my money for that one game. I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Killzone.
All right, Killzone, yeah.
We're
Would,
going to see.
would anyone here be excited about a new Killzone? Personally.
I would be a little bit. I actually really liked 3's multiplayer.
And I
Okay.
mean, I think the thing that's going to be exciting about a new Killzone is the tech.
Right. I
'Cause
think
those guys
Killzone is
push
just a
it,
graphics
like-
game, right? Like,
So that's what we're talking about. Seeing that wow factor,
Yeah.
throwing up a new Killzone game might be where we
the
get that from.
aliasing.
You know?
Gran Turismo?
oh, you're right. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think we'll see one, right? They always. Will it take 5 more years to come out? Who knows?
Probably.
I know that out of Sony Santa Monica, I think it was what's the game director from God of War 3, Stig?
hmm
Isn't he working on something?
Yeah, for a long time.
So what's that? I'm assuming that's going to be a PS4 project.
They don't
that
announce a
time.
new God of War though, but for PS3.
Oh no.
PS4
But that's
until
but
they ship
he's
this
off
one.
of the
Yeah.
God of War stuff now, and he's on his own project. I'm assuming that's something.
What is Naughty Dog? What is
yeah.
Naughty Dog? I mean, Naughty Dog is one of their premier studios. I mean, and we talk
we're gonna
about,
see an Uncharted.
you know, there we go, Uncharted. Is it a prequel? Is it a new chapter?
We definitely have to see an Uncharted.
Okay.
I'm going to get so excited if we see Amy or any of those guys in the, getting during registration. It's going to be. That's when I'm going to turn into Kyle.
Are we
That's
going?
when my head's going to start exploding. I'm going to start eating cake.
Are we going to see a bunch of PSN games? Are we going to see Journey 2? Are we going to see a new
I don't think we'll see Journey
We're
2.
not going to see Journey 2.
unfinished Swan?
Will it be finished?
Oh.
You know, will we see?
about- Well, these guys have Giant Sparrow has a 3-game deal, just like that game company did. So
Yeah, and I think Sony has really been pushing a lot of the cool indie stuff with Journey really kicking ass last year and getting a lot of awards. I think they're going to want to show some of those projects. How much of that ties into PSN and digital, I don't know if they're going to get
or how
into
your
those.
account's going to live.
Right, I don't know how they're
that's
going to
the more
start
the
talking
nitty-gritty
about that stuff.
but
Like, I think that's going to be
Reverse
way down the
compatibility.
line.
That is a good jumping point as to one of the things, and we'll go back to the games in a sec, but one uses a jumping point to talk about backwards compatibility.
Oh,
Right.
let's hold off.
Let's
on
let's
that.
finish. Let's do games.
Well, no, he just, he raised that one. All right, okay. Capcom, what are Capcom bringing?
Wow.
Can we hope for a new Resident Evil?
Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers is probably, that's been sort of announced.
And
That'd
it's
be
going to
cool.
be 2D.
Lost Planet 5
Uh,
No.
in 6D?
Well, what about...
I mean, they did not stealth launch, sorry, but Resident Evil 6, like it or leave it, did have a really short lead up to release,
Yeah.
under a year. I mean, well, let's talk about the PS4. It's going to have if you're right with September, that's going to be a 7.
Well, I actually said October,
lead up.
but, I mean,
sorry.
yeah, but I mean,
you know,
if it ties into GTA,
under
yeah.
12 months,
Yeah.
so it is nuts. Who
do you
knows,
think like
man?
Onimusha would be cool, or like Mega Man Legends? Just one of those things that would get
Mega Man Legends,
the
you're
dorks
tempting
excited.
fate, man.
Yeah, I know. That's unlikely, but yeah, just like a weird little thing that we would have never known.
I mean, even
Do you
a
think-
Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Let's do some, and of course, when we did our 20 games we want to see on the PS4, we want to see new games. We want to see new
Yep.
games. Not everything has to be a sequel.
You're right.
No,
yeah.
I
And
know it has
this
to be a
is-
sequel or reboot, but with
you know-
regards to new games, we can't really say.
No,
what new
I know,
games we want because-
but Capcom's been, they gave us Dragon's Dogma last year. They're doing Remember Me this year, so they are taking some
Yeah.
chances on some bigger titles, giving some promotion to them. So, I have my fingers crossed.
I'd like a Capcom game just where you can jump. If there's a jump button in a Capcom game, I'm like, that'd be cool.
That's
I feel like
next
it's
gen.
been a while.
That's
I'd like
next gen, people.
I'd like a Capcom
Jumping in
game where
Capcom game.
you can
Double
actually
jumping?
have everything on the disc that you pay for day one.
Oh, wow. That's just never going to happen.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. There are so many more discussions. Luckily, there are 55,000 GT shows this week, all about the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Check
And
them
it
all out.
continues into next week as well.
Yes, and it does continue into next week, where we'll be in New York. We'll be talking about it both before and after. And Jeremy will have to clean my spooge up if we get Infamous 3, because I'll soak everybody.
Bring a towel
That's
from
it.
the
Mark us
hotel.
off the show
Why
next week.
Infamous so
about-
much? I'm actually really
I've
curious.
just always
why you
loved
love it so
Infamous,
much.
and I just thought it kicked Prototype's ass. We'd butt heads over it. But anyway, yes, that's the show. New Annoyed Gamer up in the morning. New GTTV next week, Jeremy.
Yes, next Thursday night, there's a new GTTV.
What's on it? Anything cool?
Secret. No, I can't. No, there's going to be some new God of War footage, some new Tearaway footage. We've got to look at Star Trek. We've got a Star Wars pinball trailer with everyone's favorite Star Wars character. I can't say who
I
it is
understand a certain irked gamer will be back on GTTV next Friday night as well.
Didn't you tell him we replaced him with Kyle?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's it. Bosman, your ass is mine. We'll be back next week. Well, I will. He might not. See ya.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.